Hey, folks, Doug Blake with Body Design University. I really love to get questions about specific exercises. So, quite often, I'll have students or trainers, even advanced trainers, will ask me questions about a particular exercise, even an exercise that, for instance, a veteran trainer has been doing for a while, and perhaps they've heard something that here at BDU we said is a no go exercise. And I love getting the question of is that a good exercise? Why isn't it a good exercise? And of course, I can give the response. And lately, I get questions from students asking me about leg press and shoulder presses, behind the neck, things like that. But in today's video, I want to talk to you about the Pec Deck. If you are familiar with the Pec Deck, it looks something like this. You put your arms in the pads and you pull them together like this, right? That's the original or the standard Pec Deck. I remember when I first started training, we're talking, 40 years ago, the original Pec Deck machine, when they came out, that was really cool, man, because you could feel like you could really train what we would say is train your inner pec. Of course, we know that's ridiculous because there's no such thing as an inner pec. Okay. But I'm not going to get into that part of it. I wanted to talk to you specifically about why the Pec Deck really is not a great exercise. Now, I will say this, as with any what we would consider at BDU no-go exercises, whatever the case is, if you like doing it, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I'm just going to give you the reason why. And so again, in particular, as I've listened to some trainers and some other students ask me, why not the Pec Deck? What is the problem with it? And the answer is really very simple. If done a specific way, it's not dangerous necessarily. It's just not the most effective, efficient use of your time. That's why I don't do them. I don't recommend them. Now, just like I showed you, the standard Pec Deck basically has two pads on either side, and you put your arm in there and your weight stack is behind you, and you go from here and you move the machine in this way, right? And so in a horizontal position where you're going through adduction and abduction, right? Horizontal adduction, right? Just like a bench press. See, if I do a bench press, I'm training my pecs. Well, what's wrong with doing this and this? Well, what is the difference? And this is the point of this video. Pec decks, yeah, if you do them from here to here or whatever, you're probably not going to hurt yourself. But the reason they're inefficient is because your shoulder is in an externally rotated position. So some real quick basic kinesiology on the pectoralis major. Pectoralis major adducts, flexes, and medially or internally rotates the humerus, which means that in order to shorten the pectoralis major maximally through an exercise, you have to have the shoulder in an internally rotated position. This is why, just so you know, many years ago, believe it or not, the manufacturers of Pec decks kind of figured out that instead of putting the elbow up and having the shoulder in an externally rotated position, which would not allow for maximal shortening of the pectoralis major, again, you would have to have internal rotation for that to occur. By the way, you can do this yourself. From here, move your arm in, and you can feel and you can tense your pecs, obviously. Now go like this, internally rotate, and wham, ow, I think I hurt myself. You're going to feel your pec really contract. Why? It's kinesiology, folks. Okay. Going here is not allowing for maximal shortening of the pectoralis major. So the answer to one of the questions of, well, can you do it effectively? And the answer is, well, yeah, of course you could. Now, of course, we know that there are Pec Deck machines where instead of having the elbow pushing this way, you have handles where you can grab out from here and here. And you've seen these, right? And now you can do Pec decks like this. Now, we call it a Pec Deck because it's a Pec Deck machine, but what have you basically done? A fly. You've just done flies. Imagine yourself on your back with dumbbells doing dumbbell flies. And what have you done? You've allowed for the internal rotation of the shoulder joint. It's really pretty simple. If you're going to do Pec decks, make sure on the machines, make sure you use the one that have the handles that allow you to internally rotate the humerus, right? So that you can get maximum shortening of the pectoralis major. Stay away from these guys where you're doing this. And by the way, remember, you don't train the middle part or the inner part of your pec. The clavicular, what we call the clavicular pectoralis, right, is up here in the upper part of the pec. This is the sternal part of the pectoralis, right? So the sternum, sternal pectoralis, clavicular pectoralis, that upper part, yes, you can train that separately, but there is no inner pec, okay? You're not putting more stress or emphasis on this part of the pectoralis major. Why? Because the fibers run from the sternum all the way out to the humerus. So you're not going to put any more undue stress or adaptive stress on this area by doing Pec Deck. Leave comments below if you have any questions. And by the way, if you got through this short video, you understood what I'm talking about, then just type the word understand in the comments section. Look, we are here to help you to become industry leading and certified personal trainers. If you have any questions, please just let us know. And of course, leave them in the comment section below. Remember, every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we do a study exam certification study using Quizlet Live. We'd love to have you come on board. Just go into the Facebook group and you will see the actual event in there. So as always, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye.